Namaskaram, Namaste, hello! Deepavali is here! It's Diwali la, it's Deepavali, okay? Guys, it's just the name la, don't get triggered at Gado. Please, no fighting, no fighting.
No fighting. Shakira.
Let people say whichever they want lah. Paling penting, Diwali or Deepavali, kita boleh makan.
Yeah.
This year, I want to share with you guys a bit about all the Deepavali sweets and snacks, especially the ones that are super important and staples in most South Indian households. Look at this spread lah, guys. Let's start with the star of the show, முறுக்கு. முறுக்கு இல்லாம தீபாவளியே இல்ல.
நீ இல்லை என்றால் வாழ்க்கையில் இல்லை.
So murukku originated from the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu, which is also where a large number of Malaysian Indians are originally from. Okay, so the name murukku is a Tamil word and it means twisted because the dough is usually twisted and then fried. Its basic ingredients are very sikit je. It's just rice flour, gram flour, salt and oil. Even though it's fried, murukku has a very clean, nice taste, which is why I think everybody likes murukku. I don't know anybody who don't like murukku. I don't know. And sometimes they would add a little bit of, cumin. You bite into it like you get, cumin, or sesame seeds. So you get a bit of bite. Also, actually, right, I don't know if you guys realized, got different types of murukku. It all depends on what you add to it and what's the shape. The தேங்காய் பால் முறுக்கு, கார முறுக்கு, கடலை முறுக்கு, கோதுமை முறுக்கு, அரிசி முறுக்கு, கை முறுக்கு, முள்ளு முறுக்கு and அச்சு முறுக்கு, or what most Malaysians know as kuih ros. Okay, so the Tamils call this manis murukku achu murukku, while the Malayalis call it achappam. Achu means mold. The origins of this our kuih rosa or achu murukku are a bit murky, but what's really cool is that you can spot it in so many different cultures and parts around the world. Syrian Christians in Kerala makan these fellas during Christmas. The Sinhalese call it kokis and the Persian version naan pajare is served during the New Year Novruz. And Kasini Malaysia, of course, we call it kuih ros and we makan this fella throughout the year because it's so sedap, man. You know what I love the most is how we can find these similarities in all our traditional cuisines, right, and bring it together and share it. If you're thinking, well, you're not wrong. Dandaram was inspired by Adirasam. Adi means a lot in Tamil and Rasam means taste in Sanskrit. It's made from rice and jaggeries and served at festivities, celebrations and also as religious offerings, prasadam. Food historian K.T. Achaya said that Adirasam's origins can be traced back to the great Chola dynasty during the Middle Ages. So these cute little Indian donuts actually take about a week to make. Kalau korang nak betul-betul ikut the traditional way lah, you gotta let the dough ferment first. But now got shortcut ready lah. You can check online for recipes and it tastes just as delicious. Some are, a bit more dense, some are a bit more airy, some are fried so that the color is darker. Ikut cita rasa korang lah. A quick PSA before I go. I know some people still call it kuih telinga keling. Please don't. It's very offensive and a racial slur. And also based on the assumption that all Indians have the same skin color. We don't, guys. Genetics. Look around. Come on. Next, laddu. It's not orange chicken rice ball. Cannot talk about Indian sweets without talking about laddu. So the laddus that we usually see and eat in Malaysia are called bundi laddu or motichur laddu. It's made from gram flour, sugar and ghee. Sometimes you see cashews or raisins also but this fella I bought is empty This beautiful sweet gundu baby is so famous and significant to Indians to the point that every region in India has their own version. One of the theories about laddu's origins is that it used to be part of Ayurvedic medicine. So what they'll do is create these small balls of sesame, jaggery and peanuts and then insert small doses of medicine into it. So then easier to telan the ubat lah. Damn smart, right? Like that, I think you give me all the medicine, I'll bloop, 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 eat everything. Cause laddu. Another theory is they'll insert fenugreek seeds into the laddu and give it to young women because the seeds can actually alleviate menstrual cramps. Goa might just be one of my favorite sweets on planet Earth. This rich, creamy, milky sweet was invented at this town called Sri Villipudur in Madurai. So it's made from hoya, which is basically dried evaporated milk solids, sugar and ghee. Okay, so the name Pal means milk in Tamil and Kova probably evolved from the word koya. Oh my god, come to me my baby. Oh my god guys, look at how soft.
I want.
Mysore pak is made from gram flour, sugar and ghee. So this one is a bit like, you know, crumbly, not like cheese crumbly tau. It's like crumbly, like a bit hard and like it's very, very sweet lah. Like, I'm not going to deny that. That's why like people usually buy like a whole bar, right? And then they can share like between like 5 people. But it does look like cheese, right? You see? Oh my god, it's so sweet. So good. And this glorious swirly orange thing is called jalebi.
I just wanna eat it.
It's made from corn flour, all-purpose flour, ghee, sugar, and saffron. So jalebi, I think for a lot of people I meet, it's like a love or hate kind of thing because it is drenched in sugar syrup. You see this whole large thing, if Mysore pak, you know, like 5 people can share, I think jalebi, one jalebi, like 20 people can share. Because to me, right, this is already, like, I think can be shared between 2 people. Too sweet already. I'm done. It's really nice, like in small amounts. It's like crispy, but at the same time, like, you know, you can feel like when you bite, it's like juicy tau. I think I'm done. Next year can continue. Halwa. This is Bombay halwa and it's made from wheat flour, sugar, ghee, cardamom and cashew nuts. Got like so many variations around the world, you know. You know, there are different like consistencies, there are different things you can put in the halwa. So there's badam halwa, there's carrot halwa, there's so many other halwa that I don't remember the name, but I know how to eat. But basically halwa is like, it's all around lah, it's everywhere in the world. I smell the ghee, man. Yummy. Omo podi, or as the white people call it, Bombay mix, is made from rice and gram flour. So this is plain omo podi, but got like so many different types lah, right? Sometimes you see the color a bit like orange, red. That means it's probably a spicy version of omo podi, so they'll probably put like chili powder, or they'll just keep it plain like this and then, you know, add like roasted peanuts, curry leaves, cashew nuts, raisins. It's such a great balance. Like when you eat everything, right, you just go, then you, wow, mind blown. Such a good. And of course, coconut candy, guys. There is no Asian festival, there's no Asian celebration without coconut candy. I think that's all I can say, right? It's not like a particularly Indian thing, it's not like a particularly whatever race or culture thing, it's just an Asian thing. I think Asians, we just love our coconut. We have to put coconut in everything and then condensed milk. No need to say lah. I think you put condensed milk everywhere also. I'll be like, yes, give it to me. Delicious, wonderful. It's like a match made in heaven, you know. You put coconut and then you add condensed milk. You mix, you cook, right? Like, how can you go wrong? You're like, just hold on lah. Eat first. Yeah, okay. Be right back, guys. No need to do video already. Delicious. I eat now. But if you go to your Indian friend's house for Deepavali and don't see all these sweets and snacks, you gotta remember, we live in Malaysia, so everything is mix. Because all our food and festivals are basically jumbled into one, and I love that. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have been getting fat ang paos for Deepavali lah. best part about being Malaysian. And also last thing before I go, food is here to be shared and celebrated. It's of course great to know the origins of all the food that we know and love, but wanting ownership over everything is a bit susah lah, right? Food is almost always inspired, and it changes and evolves according to the cultures and people around it. So please no fighting all and saying, hey, it's my food, my culture, you cannot make it, only I can make it, only my people can make it. No. When other people embrace and love our food, it's just gonna live on for longer. That's great. And finally, seeing variations of your most loved like cuisines, dishes, sweets, snacks should make you happy, not angry.